But Telstra don't do that. But the thing is,
we're live now. And good morning and welcome to Lengthen Stitches. Thank you for joining us today. I'm just making sure I've got everything here correct and that I can see you guys as well. Okay. So, how are we doing today? Welcome. As always, my name is Julie and I've got Louise here with me today. Travelled all the way from the backyard. We do a very long process here. So I hope you're having a great day. Feel free to jump on, say hello. We love feedback as we go along. So today, what we are working on, and you can see it just behind Louise's head here, is our pop art bag.
this one here.
And I love these gals. Now, so far I've made two versions of this bag. I've made the one that you see on the wall, which just has basic straps, and I've made the one here that has the grommet strap holders. I loved doing the grommet strap holders and I will use them again in something else. I'm not going to use them today because the bag foam that I'm using makes them damn difficult, to be perfectly honest. And between the bag foam and then the vinyl that protects the embroidery, what I found was that over time they're coming apart a little bit. So I'm going to change the grommets for another project later on. And look, it's all about learning as we go along. And I can see we've got Bernie Souza watching us and Kay Hall as well. Thank you for dropping in. Now, before we get stuck into some embroidery, I'll just show you, because I won't keep you for hours and hours today. Mainly because Cameron wants to go shopping. Poor little bugger's running out of clothes. So, you can see here that there are 6 designs, and these designs are included in with the instructions, and you are going to love how quick these guys are to stitch out. So what we're going to get started with is our embroidery. I'm going to use a piece of white homespun. You can use whatever colour, but it just goes with the black for me. I've also got embroiderer's felt just to give that embroidery a little bit of oomph, and tearaway stabilizer on the back. All of those are in the hoop, and you can see here what I love about these designs. There's only 2 colours.
Yeah.
Oh,
How good's that?
and yeah, there's just something to be said about something that's nice and quick to stitch. I had such a good day on Friday. Look, as you guys know, the last couple of months have been tough for me health-wise, and last week I was really getting down about it. You know, I was sobbing on husband's shoulder, which he doesn't really deal well with at all. You know, the poor bastard, his normal, his way of coping with anything like that is a sarcastic comment. And that's so not what you need at that time. But he tried his best. But I made one change towards the end of the week. I started taking my cancer drugs in the afternoon instead of the morning. And it's phenomenal. I'm getting stuff done. It is just amazing. So I am very, very happy I got all of these 6 designs stitched out in a single day.
Wow. That's really good.
Yeah. Oh, and Kay, we're so glad that you're back as well, darling. Thank you for joining us. So I have had a weekend of kind of achievement.
And that always makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Poor old Ed got home on Friday, and I grabbed him by the beard on either side, and I'm shaking his head. Darling, I did something. Now, then when you look at it, it's not like I did a lot. I stitched out 6 designs and I had a shower, but I did not need a nap after any of those things. So, yay me. And it means I've got some great designing done as well. So, are you all ready for Mother's Day? What are you guys doing for Mother's Day, Louise?
I'm going out to the farm, to my daughter's farm, and they're cooking pizzas for lunch for us.
Oh, lovely.
So I figured that was really good.
If you could drop leftovers in on your way home, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Edward and I, and Grace at the moment, I think, wants to go. We are driving, so we drove to Sydney last Friday night and then drove home on Saturday afternoon for my father's birthday and had a birthday lunch with my dad. And it's the first time in 2 years I've been able to do it.
Oh, nice.
Or 3 years. So that was great. And then we are... Oh, look at the smoothness of her neck.
Yes.
It's just, to me, this is just elegant. So this weekend, we're going in the other direction. We're going to Melbourne for Edward's mum.
Oh, nice.
Who's not very well. Were anything to happen, Edward would regret not going. So,
yes. Yeah.
So we're going to go down and spend Mother's Day morning. So we'll drive down on Saturday, spend Mother's Day morning, and then drive home on, about lunchtime on.
Yeah.
So whatever kids are left, thankfully, Cameron's allegedly a responsible adult. I'm going to show you all a picture later though. I got my kids to send me a picture to do a picture for me for Mother's Day so that I can print it out. So rather happy about that. And I love the way the hair comes in as well. I spent a lot of time, and each of these pop art divas are very, they all have their own personality.
Yes.
And I've named each one after my daughters, my nieces, and then I think my sister and my mum got a Guernsey as well.
Oh, good.
Just to finish off the set. But I've always liked the pop art imagery.
You have.
And the colourfulness. So initially, I did these to be applique, and you can still purchase the applique versions. But then I thought, for a bag, let's just take it down to a slightly simpler level and show that you can use an applique design just as a standard stitcher. I think this is the haircut I always wanted in the 80s. Excuse me, my phone is ringing. So to me, this was always what I would like about the idea of a nice 80s hairstyle. Okay. Now, the joy of doing the satin stitch without the fabric is you've got none of the time spent cutting.
Yes.
Cutting the applique fabrics. And the second joy is that you haven't got to worry about whether you've trimmed it close enough for that satin stitch to pick it up. What the satin stitch does still have on it is that triple stitched outline just to finish it off.
Yeah, but that would still give it a nice edge.
It's still giving it that beautiful edge, yeah. I can't not do it.
But that's your signature of your designs. When you stitch out anybody else's designs, you kind of look for it and you think, it's missing.
The biggest trouble I had with these chicks was their ears.
Well, what's wrong?
Working out how to do the ears correctly and properly, and I mean, thankfully, most of them their hair covers their ears. But yeah, there's one or two as you sort of sit there. Now, I love red and black and white together. I just think it's a really elegant colourway. But you could do the exact same thing, and I was thinking of doing it for Thursday night with sort of with a hot pink, or even with a really pale pink and go 60s mod.
Yes, that would look nice as well. But you've got to then remember that the base of your bag will be pale pink, and that's not very practical. I thought I'd make mine purple.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Basically because I wear a lot of purple.
Yes.
But I have to finish my quilt first.
Well, this could be a good one to do, though, with the granddaughter.
Yes.
Because they do have that mod sort of a look to them. And
she's suddenly become very interested in my 6-thread embroidery machine.
Okay. Fantastic.
And she actually read the instructions. And I said to her, I have no clue how to change the background on my embroidery machine. Well, Granny, I will look it up for you.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. So she's found the page. I've read the instructions. I can see how to change it now, Granny.
And see, I was just happy today when, because Cameron's been doing interviews via Zoom. But to do it, he steals my camera, which isn't an issue, honestly. Like, you know, I've got no issue with him. But I came in at some point ready to record something, didn't even look for the camera, but hit the damn button and cursed over it not working 5 times. It wasn't working because it wasn't there. Oh, and you just feel so stupid. It's like last week when people were laughing, and with me, no, certainly not at me, don't get me wrong, on Thursday night over my licking the wash away thread.
Oh no! Everyone's done that though.
Yeah. I have to believe I'm not the only person.
No, I've done that too, Julie. And then realised it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, just when you get ahead of yourself, when you're not thinking, when you...
Yeah. Yeah. So has anybody else said what they're doing for Mother's Day?
No, nobody else is telling us what they're doing for Mother's Day this year.
Oh, dear.
But I hope your loved ones are all going to take care of you.
Well, it was actually my son-in-law who rang and said, well, I'm inviting you to my pizza making.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, I was very impressed.
So Joanne Foot's with us, and Linny Dixon, you're there as well. Probably heard me talking about you, darling. Just before we started class, don't worry, I didn't talk about you live. And Jack, if you're watching, Um,
So where's
we got Naomi White with us. Hello. Kay Hall saying her daughter and grandson coming up till they realised the night temperature was going to drop to 7 degrees.
7?
And they camp in the shed. Yeah, to us Canberrans, 7's a really lovely day.
Yes, it was 0 here the other night.
Oh, Joanne Foot's going out singing. That's wonderful. Michelle Reynolds is doing nothing. That's a bloody good way to celebrate. And it would be my choice. But over a couple of weeks ago, they called Edward and they told him that his mother's got a lump on her lungs, or a mass, sorry, they said a mass on her lungs. And she's 88 years old in August. They wanted what we wanted to do about it, but they were suggesting to do nothing because the anaesthetic could kill her. Like anything that they do, even an MRI, would be pretty well a death sentence. So we're leaving it. And Edward's forte is not dealing with stuff. He would much prefer to live in denial.
Yep. I had the same husband.
So taking him down there, and he'll go and spend, some time with his mum. We're going to try and wheel her out to the open area so that I can sit in the open area, distanced but still sort of there. And we're trying to get other family members to come along as well for the same thing. Joanne, thank you very much for that. Joanne Fran, she's enjoying the stitch out. I appreciate that, dear. They are just such fun ones to stitch. And I mean, the joy of it is, I did this whilst I was digitising something else. And I'll show you a quick thing later on what is coming up in future months. So we had planned on having, just not necessarily romantic, but yeah, now we've got to find a room for the three of us. God bless little Grace.
Yeah, but it's nice that she wants to go and see it.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I don't want any of my children having regrets. She said it might be the last time I get to see Nan. Quite possibly. She's my most emotional child. So we are absolutely happy to take her down.
And does Emma realise that as well?
She does, but she's a different child. At Mum's funeral, as soon as I broke down when they did the when one of her friends was singing Never Walk Alone, Grace was next to me and breaking down as well. Emma doesn't get emotion in the same way.
No.
But afterwards, when I said I was really proud of how they'd all held it together and acted and everything like that, Emma turns to me, yes, I don't know how I held it all together, but I tried so hard. She was just hilarious.
You really wonder what she's thinking, don't you?
Yeah. And isn't it amazing how putting on eyes and then the lips make a difference to these chicks.
Yeah. Somehow I think they might be nicer as just the outline rather than with fabric.
They're very colourful with fabric. Certainly the way that I did them, because I wanted them to be pop art. But there is really just something so elegant. I love watching them. I really wondered there, Joanne Foot. Like, I've seen a lot of your Facebook posts and you look to be really into the whole singing thing there. I didn't know you were into horses. But you love watching a gelding come alive or a design. Either way is all good. Isn't the gelding when they chop off their bits?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a harsh woman, Joanne Foot. And now we'll just add a little nail polish as well.
I was watching them gild goats the other day. Apparently goats have got very good, very large male bits.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you never know, do you?
No, you never do.
Okay, so our stitch out is done. And then you're going to repeat that 6 times. It's actually a lot quicker than you think. It's okay. Okay. And then after that, you're going to come through, and the instructions tell us, but we're going to trim all of our blocks, and they end up being 6.5 by 11. And then in whatever order you want, and I've mixed these designs around every time I've made the bag, you are going to stitch all 3 together. Make sense? Now, I've then come along and I've put my handmade tag on. Just because I want it there. You are then going to take your panel and your vinyl and your red fabric and join them together. And then you are going to do the same thing, and I'm just going to try and get high enough here, there we go, on the other side. And what I want you to take note of here is the way the designs are set. And then take note that we have to rip all that crap out. You do not want your finished bag to have one set of these ladies with their heads turned downwards.
No.
So, it is always the ladies to the top.
And you don't want these ones in the middle.
Well, you could. You could have whatever you want. I just chose to do mine that way. But original, it was a totally different set out. So
Yeah.
it really is whatever way suits you. So that's Emma, that's Grace, and I think that one's Leanne, my sister. I forget who, that one's Vanessa, my niece. I forget who the other 2 are. But they're all in there somewhere. Okay. So
this one's stitched. How this one's stitched?
don't pull it up.
Oh, I see. You're not. It's not stitched onto here straight away. Okay,
No.
right.
So all we've done is put the fabric, the vinyl, and the base fabric.
Yeah. I thought you had stitched it right through to onto here. Okay, right.
Now I've laid this on top of my bag foam, And my bag foam, thankfully, is has a sticky side to it with heat, and I've ironed that on. Now, when you are working with vinyl, do not iron the vinyl. Instead, once you've ironed your center, then iron like that and like that. Otherwise, you are going to have some melted cheese moments. Okay, and we are going to come over.
So we don't have to stitch this here?
We are going to come over to our sewing machine. We're the very impatient Louise.
Oh, I'm just very curious. I just have a real passion for this bag. Girls, I have seen this bag now for over 12 months and I really love it.
And what we are going to do is start quilting this bottom panel. Now, you can do that however you want. If you want to free motion it, you can do it that way. I'm not that good. I'm a bit of a channel quilting kind of a gal. And the only reason I don't use a quilting design is because the bag foam's too thick for the magnets to hold it. So before that question comes up, I just thought I would get that one.
Get in before I ask.
I'm using a walking foot, and my stitch length is on 3.6.
I do like to lengthen stitches.
Particularly with something like this.
Yeah.
Now, I could be the person who comes through and measures where each row is going to go. To be honest, that is never ever going to be me. Instead, I'm the person who matches up the line with the side of the foot. And I always work from one end to the other, like normal quilting, because otherwise we're going to end up with a big pucker in the middle. Because we are going to smooth as we go, and we've got an extra ½ inch or so of bag foam so that we can do it. One of the things that I like about this pattern is that there is no pattern. Now, what that does mean is that when it comes to the lining, this is going to be my pattern. Now, you could get creative here. You could come through and use, different colour threads. Once again, some of those multi-tonal threads wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, especially if you had half a wheel you wanted to use that.
Now see, I expected this to be quicker, so I apologise if I am boring you.
looks fabulous.
And it just gives such a sturdy look to the entire project.
Yeah.
Or to the base of the project. I do love a machine that does the cutting. Now vinyl, a lot of people ask where I get my vinyl. Depends on where I am. Either Bunnings or Spotlight.
Oh, okay.
So,
I would never have thought to go to Bunnings.
Most of them now sell it in a roll, so that I can just use what I need as I go, and I like having it all rolled up. Perfect for me. Some people have been saying that recently that Bunnings is cheaper than Spotlight for the clear vinyl. Whether that's true or not, because I haven't been buying.
I think if you happen to be at one place or another, it doesn't really matter, because by the time you drive to the other place...
Exactly, it's worth getting it.
Yeah.
And I can see Gail Murphy's with us. Thank you for joining us, Gail.
This would be nice doing between needles.
Oh. And look, if you're a person who loves free motion, think of the cool stuff that you could do.
Yeah.
And I froze. Okay. There's something about feeling it with the bag foam, isn't there?
Yeah.
Now, all of these steps are, of course, in the instructions as well. Now, think of how you could take this to the next level too. Think of it with a really nice scene design. You know, if the pop art chicks aren't your thing,
Take too long.
and then I just want to do one last stitch right here on that join over, just to hold that down. Someone's getting a delivery. I don't think it's me. Now, okay, and so here we have our quilting finished, and we've got our vinyl pieces. Now it's always worth making sure as you go along that there are no bits of fluff on your project, because once you've put the lining on, it is too late. So now what we've got to do is make our bag shape, and we all know that things get distorted when we do our quilting, so it's worth coming through and measuring. And you can see here that that is 10 inches. And what I am going to do is take my ruler and I'm going to measure. Red on red's a real bugger, you know. 2.5 inches across there. And 2.5 inches across there, and I'll come in closer so that you can see what I'm doing. And again, two and a half inches this way. And what we are left with is then our cutout for the base of the bag. Now remember, feel free to ask questions as we go along. I really don't want to cut my my camera cable. But I am going to trim the sides. I'm not going to trim the top yet because I want to wait to do that till we put the lining on. Oh, yes. Now, can I get you to grab that for me? Mm-hmm. The other thing you could do with these, if you are an artistic person, which we all know I am not, would be to get out your watercolours. you know, put some blush on their cheeks. Okay, and then we come and we do the same thing this side. And
double check.
Always worth double checking. Okay. So, from here, the next thing that I'm going to do is to grab my lining fabric and I'm going to cut out this pattern out of my lining fabric. So let's come over to my work table. Sorry to get you to move there, Louise.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So this is my workbench.
What fabric are you using?
I found this yesterday and thought that'll do. Now we've made a couple of bags now, so you are all familiar with how to add in the extras, such as pockets into your lining. So all I'm going to do is lay this guy on. We do, of course, want to cut our corners as we go. And I can use these off-cut pieces at the top to make my pockets. Okay, so lining is done. Oops. Sorry, I'm losing my camera there a little bit at the moment. And, oops, what have I pulled out? Sorry guys, my chair's just run over something and I don't know what. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to work out where I am missing things from. Okay. Aha. And I think I found it. There we go. Yep, it was the one that Cameron had plugged back in for me. Okay. Oh, giving them some real jewellery. That's a great idea. I kind of like that, like adding some bling.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so back to sewing. And my fabric is already right sides together. Now on this one we're just going to assume that I've put a pocket in.
Oh.
I'll go back to my default because I'm back some that's better. Okay. And we go sides together, sides together. And then create the base. And create the base. Now, can I have the bag from up there?
Bag from up here.
The actual bag.
Oh.
Because it does change a little when we are putting together the actual bag. There's a couple of things that we want to make sure of. We want to make sure that the red matches to the red. It's just those teeny tiny little bits that give your bag a much nicer finish on it. And bag clips over pins because life is tough. And then
When you sew it together, do you sew it on 3 or 2.5?
stitch length.
Yeah.
Look, I've been known to double it up. If I have trouble, I'll go to a 3. I would like for it to be able to do a 2.5 though.
Okay.
Just because it's going to hold it together better.
Mm-hmm. And is the seam 1/4 of an inch or 5/8?
You need to go 5/8 on these.
Okay.
1/4 of an inch with the foam, just it leaves too much for
Error.
yeah. Okay. And don't stress that that is not equal there, because it is equal here. So I'm on 2.4. And it's managing it quite well. Once again though, you need that walking foot for this.
Yeah.
Now next month, and I'll try and get a pick out for everybody this week, we are going to go a totally different shape and style of bag. Kind of feel like you probably all toted out for a while. And then again, oops, it's a problem with vinyl, it does stick together. And we fold over, and pin, or clip.
Do we need to open it or out?
Look, if you can, that's great. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. This is a time when we would use our thing. And then the other side. So, like most of my things, I think you'd agree that it's not incredibly difficult once you know where you're going. So, the worst part is, of course, with vinyl. Now, you can steam vinyl to make it more malleable. You can see why they call it birthing a bag, can't you? And the other way to get the vinyl to sit the way you want it to is just leave it out in sunshine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that is our bag so far. I think that's looking pretty darn good. The next thing that we are going to do is create our handles. And all I've done to create my handles is take a 3-inch strip, as long as I wanted that handle, or 2 3-inch strips, as long as I want that handle to be, and then join them together, and again replicate that channel quilting down the handles. The question then becomes, and I like this as a little bit of a longer bag, to be honest, so it really is up to you how long you want your handles, but the question then becomes where to place them. And for me, the best place to place my handles is either side of the middle embroidery. So I would be coming through and the joy of doing it this way, or what I like about doing it this way is probably a better way of saying it, is that it gives me an actual place to mark up, so that when I turn things over, the other side. I can easily match them up. Always make sure your handles are straight.
Oh, it's something worse than having that twist in it.
And then again. Now, I like my handles sitting on the outside of the bag. I find it gives more support to the bag. That is a personal choice. Now, I don't know if you can see here. Yeah, you can. I've got a hair in there. And as soon as I stitch that, that would have shown up to me and ticked me off for an awfully long time. So it's worth going over
and double checking.
And double checking. Damn it. Really got to clean up. Okay. Now, we have our handles. Next thing we're going to do is attach in our lining. And then after that, the only thing left to do is take the remainder of your fabric and bind the lining to the fabric. And that is our completed bag. So, now, brutal honesty, I ran out of fabric. Because I'm on a use up crap this year.
Yes.
Mission, and I'm doing really well. I don't think I bought any fabric this year.
So good.
Oh, yeah, helps that I haven't been outside, but you know.
It makes you use up what you've got.
Exactly. So I am going to use this fabric, and I can see there online it doesn't necessarily look too bad. It looks like something that I will get away with. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch strip, which is just a little bit wider than that. I will fold it over, pop it there, turn it under, and then stitch in the ditch.
So is there a niece or a nephew? Niece going to get this for Christmas?
Quite possibly. I've also been thinking, and I've got 2 massive bags of things that I've got to give to you, Louise, for your charity things.
Yeah, they're having a Christmas store.
Because I'm getting so many projects made. Why did that not work? Sorry, guys. So because I'm getting so many projects made, I actually thought that I would donate them to your... Okay, thank heavens. I thought that I would donate them to Louisa's charity thing. Oh, Joanne, that's a great idea, actually. Joanne's saying black would work to trim it with as well.
Oh, black would look fabulous.
Yes.
Actually, I think black would even be better.
And actually, I've got...
a piece of black.
Well, and it's a piece of...
Vinyl-y.
Well, it's... Did they used to call it satin look?
Yes.
Like they finished it off and it's got some sort of a satin look to it. So that might be perfect. Ooh, Joanne, thank you. See, this is why I love this.
Yeah, I think that's better than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. Thank you very much.
And that's what that piece you've got here would be a Christmassy colour.
Yes. Yeah, it was from a Christmas design.
Yeah.
So that is our pop art bag. I'll sit there tonight and do the stitching, the final stitching around, but I'm thrilled with how that has all come together. And just, I went blurry there for a minute, and just how quickly the bag itself comes together once you've got those designs done. As always, thank you so much for spending time with me this morning. I really do appreciate it. We are, of course, going to repeat this one on Thursday night. I might do it in pinks, just to do something different. So until next time, have a stitching day, guys. Bye.